had this muted so that I could get into position while I was still on the other screen. Hey! I'm trying to... How dare you? So, it's kind of raining. I'm just gonna fix that. I play with commands, I don't mind doing that. Right. So this is world spawn. I decided to make it sort of a... I didn't want to say gazebo, but, You enter this world via astral projection through dreams. So you wake up in a bed on a mysterious stone platform. This is world spawn. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you about what you see in the distance. The texture pack, of course, is a DokuCraft Light. I normally use DokuCraft High, but I didn't really want to. Light has a few extra features. This of course, is also artificial. I did a lot of the landscaping here. It's mostly just plains otherwise. I'll take off my armor just for show. Wearing princess dress. Oh, it's okay to turn music on. What do I think about the new biome? I do not really follow Minecraft updates that much anymore, but it looks like desaturated dark forest. I guess I'll see where it goes, but I'm still in 1.20.4 actually. I haven't updated. I kind of do want to update, but I want to wait until my visual mods update as well. Wonder if I can handle shaders. Ah, I see my video quality has just dropped considerably. Is it blurry for anybody else? Right here I have my mob farm. I was gonna put a... Yeah, it looks like it normalized. So I was gonna put a lava chute there, but I made a mob farm. This is natural, of course. I did use creative mode for a few things, but I kept the cheating mostly within reason. I do play with cheats, but I don't like overdo it most of the time. Part of what I use them for is like acquiring new materials that I would normally have to generate new chunks for. This world I think was generated in 1.18, I think 19. It was Caves and Cliffs Part 2, I think, right before it was between the cave overhaul and Ancient Cities being officially added. But I do think that this game looks absolutely phenomenal with shaders, even though my computer doesn't run it very well. But yeah, I'm actually not going to go out that way. Normally I would go through the main path, but I got distracted, so we're swimming up. Okay. So of course, now it's time to talk about the hive tree. And I've kind of been at this for a long time. For the past 8 years, every major build I've done in Minecraft has almost always been a hive tree. And I usually follow the same layout, where on the bottom floor I have these fountains. And just a bunch of flowers and a spiral staircase that leads into the ballroom. Actually want to I made giant flowers to hold my shulker boxes, and I think that's really pretty. So, yeah, it's pretty much just a ballroom crafting storage place. I think I can enable... Yeah, that triggers the cinematic cam. So, I'll keep the HUD off as I proceed up the tree. But, here's the library. I put a lot of... I usually have a Legion mural on the ceiling for the library. But, library is also the only floor that I replaced the leaf windows with real lined glass windows. And I think it makes it a lot easier to use this as sort of an observation deck. So I have some map art chess pieces here. Chessboards. Can't do the pieces. And the cinematic camera is already bothering me, so that's good to turn. You've got potion storage and all that. I like the twin waterfalls. This shader isn't doing so well, so I might see how it works with filters. That is much better performing. It's also a lot more red. I don't like how red this is. I'm gonna change it. That's a little bit better. So now we get a view of the area from the first outdoor spiral staircase. And of course I just changed my video settings so the world is still loading there. But you might notice also that this tree is not all there is to the world. There's quite a bit more. But we'll get to that when we come to it. We're going to just walk and take this slow and try to enjoy ourselves. This is sick. I am glad to hear that. I think it's pretty sick too. This is one of my most proudest buildings I've ever done. You can start to see the town in the distance now. But beyond that, we also have these large spanning forests, which I'll get to in a bit. I've actually only just begun to expand the forest beyond what its normal limitations are. This is a flower forest, but we have a miniature giant tree, which I'll get to in a moment. Now, I'm sure it's kind of obvious just from looking at it, but I eventually did have to use a world editor to put in all these leaves because it's like millions of blocks and I don't want to do that by hand. A lot of good builders use world editors, so I don't feel too bad about it. Here's the map of the area. It's a little outdated since I've been building. But some points of interest. There's spawn. We are, of course, right here. There's that I'll be checking out in a moment. And for the most part, it's kind of basic beyond. I like to flesh out the world that I'm playing in. I've actually only just started doing that. Normally I would just sort of play, but eventually I got the idea to sort of develop the world that I'm playing in and create lore for it, and that's made my experience with Minecraft a lot more fun. Like, people say that this is a game that you play in cycles of like 2 months. Or 2 weeks, sometimes. But I've managed to keep up a semi-consistent play habit for like a couple of months at least. I think I've been playing this since mostly the start of the year, but this world, again, as I mentioned, is like 1.19-ish. I haven't haven't been commenting on the areas. Gosh. Look at me. I've just been absent-mindedly blabbering out about where I've been. Yeah, it's always the 2-week window. Right. Last I left off, I was at the, map room, and, this is the biolab. I had something planned with this. I should probably put some strain up so that the vines don't grow too much, but at the same time, I've been harvesting the vines from this. But, yeah, there's a functional aquarium in here. And other than that, I also have a display box with all the saplings in it. There's, of course, a mini elevator in here. This, of course, just goes into the fish tank. If anything, that's even... There's one fish alive. I filled it too high, so the fish could jump out and suffocate themselves. But I tried to put some of the more weird plant farms in the laboratory. Played mine colonies for a month. I've not played mine colonies. I don't usually dabble with mod packs very much. This is mostly but the real apothecary and potion lab is the top floor of the lab. Technically speaking, the biolab is actually the largest part of the whole tree since it's split up into 3 stories. Now we're breaking through the canopy layer. And you can walk along the branches. I usually suck at making the branches. They're always the worst part of the tree for me. The tree isn't even fully complete. Regardless, this is the spa. And I've got a couple massage tables set up here. There's windows that overlook the great unknown. The shader pack really does wonders with the leaf windows. That's part of why I use them. But the spa also has a pool. I kind of like making pools in my builds. They're just kind of a nice little water feature. Everybody needs water. Let's follow the path this way, where we follow a bridge into an annex branch containing a hot tub, along with a, well, this used to look out. I guess it kind of, got covered by the branches. I should put some magma blocks for bubble columns. Oh, yeah, that's an option, but kind of worried about the magma blocks being too conspicuous and also causing damage. Of course, the stairway just heads right up to the next floor of the tree, but on your way there, there's a diving board. And I do love this, like, canopy pool section. It's very nice. You don't know if they hurt more. Yeah, haven't you ever rode one down all the way? This room I have not completed. This was going to be the lounge, and I will probably add some more to it. I've kind of just not been touching the tree as much lately, since I've been working on the rest of the room. So I don't actually have a staircase leading to the top floor yet, but just pretend that I walked up here normally. And this is the throne room. And I really, really like how this design came out. All credits to Joey, of course. He kind of came up with the whole Legion concept, but yeah, it's pretty here. Okay, moving on to the next part of the world tour. I kept my arm off for this one. I'm gonna pop on Elytra just for fast travel. I'm just going to go to the bottom of the tree again. Next, we are going to or inspect the Japanese gardens. Now, this is one of the builds that I actually did have creative assistance with. Simply because I didn't spawn close to anywhere that had a lot of sand. And also cherry trees being added after I've explored most of my world. But anyway, the gravel and Doku craft really does this justice. I especially like how this looks with the default Doku craft sky. The sky with Astralex shaders is very nice, but I really like this sky texture. I use it in Ultrakit for my cyber grind. But yeah, we've just got a couple of pools, stepping stones, which just have lily pads connecting them for convenience. This cliffside is man-made, also in creative mode. I know it's less impressive when I use creative mode for certain things, but I mostly use it with materials that would not be too hard to source and locate. There's no real purpose to this little hall here. It's raining again. I'll just deal with the bitrate. You can enjoy the atmosphere. Oh. But yes, at the top of this we have a beautiful Japanese spring with a sword right here. Creative doesn't make things less impressive. Agree. I do agree. Most of this stuff is renewable, so it's not like cheating in resources just for the sake of cheating. Also, acacia trees make for very good bonsai. You can do a lot of decorating just by building a tree here. Of course, this is the sort of thing that should be familiar to many people. Alright. I'm cursed for life now. A lot of impressive things probably got made in creative anyway. Yeah, of course. Anyway, you got the hot springs. Really nice place to be. I'm glad to be there. It's, quite a relaxing place. I think that mostly wraps things up for the Japanese garden. It's one of my, nicer projects. I made this, like, right after watching Kill Bill for the first time. Of course, that starts off with, like, a fight in a snowy Japanese garden, and that's the coolest thing ever. Well, it ends there. What? No, the sign just said hot springs. I don't know what else you're talking about. So at some point, I decided to just think, like, I built this, tree in a really holy region. Oh, we got music. What better place to put in a holy region than an artificial lake? Gonna pop on the helmet just so I don't choke. I made a submerged ruin just because it looked like the cool... It just seemed like a really cool idea at the time, and I filled it up with ocean plants, and it's just kind of a vibe just sitting there. It's crazy how much just adding minuscule buildings to your world can really bring out some of the features of the landscape that you would normally not even look at. This whole lake is man-made. This was originally just a divot of land that I just filled with water just to have more water around. I've even put soul torches up around the edges. of course, it's also worth mentioning this thing. A large amethyst cluster on the surface. And I've put up banners that resemble sealing papers all around it. As well as used candles for the lighting. Yeah, Soulside does do bobble columns, so that might be rude. That might be a good idea, too. So before I proceed more to the south, I think that's south, I'm going to head back up to this intersection to check out this forest path leading... no, west. Yes, crouching stops magma damage, but can't be expected to stop literally constantly. I should probably add some lamps to this path now that I think about it, since it's kind of barren otherwise. Oh! Not now, zombie. I'm in cinematic mode. I'm in the zone. Don't get me out of it. If I had a bit more foresight, I probably would have just expanded this village into the rest of the, city that I was planning. I suppose it's not too late if I want to make it like a sprawling metropolis, but I kind of also do like just having this, like, wilderness plain aspect. This is effectively the border to my territory, is what I'm trying to say. Ow. It is getting late. I should probably, fly back home. Because it just so happens that one of the, rooms I forgot to show off was my own bedroom. Oops. Well, I'm here anyway. Of course, I have an elevator that leads through all of the floors of the hive tree, and that makes it extremely easy access. But again, let's just sleep until morning. Of course, here we have the bathing area. I don't know if this counts as a hot tub stream now. I know Twitch has kind of weird, tendencies when it comes to that. But, yeah, you can just chill out in this, big waterfall formation. I do come here just to... I like to make places that I just like to hang out, chill out. I won't get copyright strike for this music, will I? It's a little loud for my taste, so I'll drop it down to 50%. But, I've used Skulk to resemble a sort of starry ceiling. This place is just, like, absolutely caked in flowers. There's flowers everywhere. A water feature that goes all around the central island that just has this, like, curtained off bed. This is how I want to live my life. The balcony faces the rising sun. It's quite a beautiful sight to see it. Anyway, with that out of the way... Ah, what a beautiful wine. Chew. Let's follow the path north. Or, is this north? It's south. Let's follow the path south. And, along this path we'll find a set of runes. This, in particular, was my Witherkill arena, since, you know, Wither is completely trivialized by playing without mob griefing, which of course I do. I don't like creepers. But the ruins continue to build in frequency. Right here we find another one. This place is completely overgrown. I like to make these places that are just claimed by the forest. And vine-covered set of ruins that have... Excuse me, I am set dressing! How dare you? What was I? This overgrown and mossy set of ruins just sort of has such a vibe to it. I like to see it, like, juxtaposed against the giant tree. Got holes that are constructed of various different things. Like, a lot of people say you should have texture in their builds, and I think this is what they really mean by that. Just, like, put a lot of work into the ruins. Like, I have buttons acting as stones. A lot of people like to do that. This is, overall, like, one of my favorite parts of the whole build. And especially, like, this sun-baked trail in the clearing between all the trees with the, like, strange glowing rocks in them. Lost ruins of sorts. They're really easy to build, too. You kind of just strew random blocks all over the place. It works great. Try it sometime. So what we're coming up on now should be familiar to anybody who watches my streams. It is this temple. And this is probably one of my favorite builds next to the hive tree. Look familiar? If not... There it is. Of course, I'm using a different shader pack, and it's not nighttime, but this is the temple that I begin all of my streams in. And now, in my planet's lore, this is the Temple of Dreams, and it was taken over by the forest, most early into my colonization of the land. Effectively, this is a forgotten religion that I, the invading alien parasite, of course. Parasite isn't the right word. Point is, I'm an alien, I'm on this medieval planet, and I'm here to just be Legion and look around and stuff. But yeah, this place has been completely overtaken by the elements. What I actually like about this build is I built this from the ground up. This is all in survival. I built this from the ground up. All intact, actually. And I destroyed it with TNT, so the damage would look natural. And of course I have things like fallen pillars that are covered in moss. Pools of water that have collected in the ground. This is like fantastic world design, and I know I'm kind of patting myself on the back a lot. I just hope you guys appreciate it the way I do. Of course, this is where we peel away the curtain and kind of see that I haven't really developed the land all that much. I mostly just focused on a few. I guess just determined trails, but this sigil, this Legion emblem, officially marks the edge of my territory, as if we follow this path downward, we enter the town. I haven't really named the town yet, but it has rich lore and history, I assure you. There's this little pass-through cave, and this vaguely overgrown tunnel that shows that people tend to not come to this part of the city very often. Now, realistically, if I put a bit more foresight into this build, I would probably be ritual rotisserie? What? Okay, if I put more thought into this build, I probably would have spaced these out considerably. Because originally I just built this farmhouse and this was meant to be like the absolute outer edges of the countryside, but I just started building other things closer and closer to the home. Speaking of which, let's enter the farmhouse and see for ourselves. I had some villagers here, but I believe they've died. As you can see, we've got a couple of job site blocks for them. Easily add some life to a room by just adding a carpet, putting a bunch of stuff there. But yeah, it's mostly a complete house, missing a bit of furnishings, but you'll come to understand that that doesn't really matter when viewing things from the outside. There's also roof access. I just love the tree looming in the distance and basically every skyline. So the way I see it, there are multiple ways that that tree can be interpreted within the lore of the universe. One of them just being that it's like the holy tree, as in like could be Yggdrasil or something, and people in the city worship it as if it's always been there. Another option is that it just gets completely lost in the canopy and people just assume that it's a humongous forest, which is also viable. Realistically, this is sort of like video game logic. Towns are usually closer together and filled with less buildings just for compactness and ease of access. But this is mostly just me going ham on creating buildings with no real purpose. Like, they're totally hollow inside, and that's kinda lame, but otherwise, I kind of just like building, even if I'm not doing anything important. I just gave up on this to the point where I didn't even install proper stairs. But every empty building makes the world feel more full, and that's something that is kind of important to keep in mind. Like, over here we've got a well, and the well just connects to a natural cave system that formed beneath the town. I don't even use the town for anything. It's just here. It is set dressing that I've put countless hours into. Of course, we've got some construction materials on standby, and you can see one of the buildings is still in construction. I modeled this. I modeled this part of the town somewhat off Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time. I tried to make a lot of variants in the buildings. I know a lot of people like to have their mass empty buildings look mostly identical. And I know that that speeds things up considerably, but that's just not what I wanted to do with this build, with this city. Oh, the, I kind of just went ham on this. I included a unique looking wall and I walled off a side garden. On that one, you only access the second floor from the outside. This is just totally empty. I don't even know what to put in this. This one I have made some effort to decorate. Though, after me. I have all of these things. I made this into a shop, and I think yeah, I've got some terracotta there for future use. I've been meaning to move it to my main storage, but it always slips my mind. Now we're coming into the city proper. And as you can see, we've got a couple of market stalls here. I could fill these up with some actual supplies to make it seem more lively, and I'll probably do that in the future. This whole thing is just one gigantic work in progress. But what I think is the star attraction of this town is the inn here, which is not totally complete. Um, I've of course got like a sort of lounge area. this, of course, is just sort of the tavern part. I'll probably install some sort of a bar here, but other than that, I have a non-functional pool table. Pool tables are very nice to see in builds. It's one of those examples where you can do a lot with a little. I'll put a jukebox here once I have a free one. Lots of windows on this, of course. This is, I guess, just like a common sleeping area. And, kind of just made a lot of rooms for the suite. I made a lot of rooms for the inn because I just wanted it to feel alive and accurate. So it's equipped to handle quite a few people. Also is connected to a restaurant, or a pub, if you will, that is connected to the building and has a overpass bridge. If we look out this window, we can see the road that leads from there into the... This bridge leads to the island, which is going to house the capital building of the region. Of course, it's it's more of I would say castle town, which is extremely cool. I hope you all agree. Beyond that, we have this park, which is, again, still unfinished. I kind of just hop between projects depending on how much resources I have. This looks like where I ran out of resources for making the street lamps. But I do like this design. It's smooth and eye-catching. While also looking significantly fancy. The path that goes that way is not exactly complete yet. I haven't put any buildings at the end of that. Oh yes, another example of artificial water feature. This moat was mostly just an empty ravine. I filled it in. I also dug a little... As you can see, it sort of continues that way, so I dug a hole underneath a tunnel for the water to go through. And this is another favorite build of mine. I just finished this recently. It is a library. There's a central table that is built around this, which is a star field, composed of sculpt blocks. And of course we've got the enchanting tables here, how could I not? It's symmetrical on both sides. With of course a little nook underneath the stairway. I put some stars up on the ceiling. And we've got windows that look out into the night sky. If you follow this stairwell, it brings us to the observatory. If this seems a little Majora's Mask inspired, you are absolutely right. That is exactly what I had in mind. The telescope, you can look through it. It's not really easy to see, but you can see stars all right. And I think the idea I had is that they're sort of projected downward. You can come out onto the roof if you really want to, though there's not really any reason to. I'm still working on building this. It is a never-ending work in project. Work in progress. I did this building like a couple days ago. Sometimes it just comes down to getting an idea and just putting it into practice. Project before that was this blacksmith hut. And I've got magma mixed with soul campfires to make it look like a magic forge. With a lava feature, just because lava's awesome. We've got all the crafting stations here necessary for a blacksmith to run. Armor in the show window. There's a... I did that helmet in the glass case trick, which is really hard to pull off, but there's more up here. This is the storefront of the blacksmith. And I'll probably put some item frames and stuff around here. And then we have the, I guess sort of a residential district. I need to light this place up. It's dangerous. I'm overall still working on this place. There's a lot to be had. Some of it you're going to see on stream, a lot of it is just going to be me casually playing. This is the sort of game that I put on a game while I watch a video. But I will probably do some chill building streams sometimes. I've been wanting to for a while, but everybody wanted me to finish SMZ3 first. I wanted to put some bookshelves in here. But it's actually surprising how you can make a house feel almost bigger by sequestering off certain regions. I usually like to incorporate much bigger rooms in my designs, but walling things off and sequestering the house into several divisions has been actually pretty cathartic. It's a nice exercise. And I think that's pretty much the end of the tour. So, the thing that I was working on earlier today is this... I wanted to call this a stonemasons guild. I was going to decorate it a bit later, but I wanted to have lapis. Oh, one more part of the tour that I only just remembered, since we're close to it, is if I wander a little bit into these woods, there's a big clearing here with trees that I'll probably had a couple that have been toppled over, but we come over here, we can find that there is a large impact crater. You may have noticed that there are amethysts all around the town. It's practically their trademark. So, right here is supposed to be the source of the gem that they've been using in all their construction. It's sort of... I wanted to imply that it's a sort of magical material that has fallen from space. And again, you guys have got to try sometime developing your Minecraft world as you're building stuff. Just creating lore for it. It is a unrivaled sort of feeling. I could probably put up some more decorations just to make the forest feel alive, but I also decorated this random hole to show that whatever material came from that meteorite has spread underground and is sprouting up all over the world, even across the trees. So that's my Minecraft world. And I'd like to know what you guys think about it, because I am disabling shaders now. The shaders look amazing, but I have to only use them for screenshots and videos. It's so much smoother playing, like, without shaders. It is nice, isn't it? I know. I love it. I love it. This is like my pride and joy right here. So, putting armor back on now, I'm actually going to start playing the game. I think I've not really missed anything that's happened in my absence. So, another thing that I need to show off, of course, is I mentioned this large tree, and inside is actually the source of most of the wood for the hive tree. I have a general rule when I play that redstone contraptions are ugly and they need to be covered up at all costs. So I've hidden this tree farm, which is comprised of a large structure to just... I believe 90% of this build is just made to remove leaves. And up there is a TNT Vtuber. And yeah, that's where most of this came from. So while I could use creative to build an awesome base, I did do that in survival mode. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the tour. So, I gotta remind myself my last, things were, because the last time I, played this, But my last major build was making a different tree farm. Which is this direction. I wanted to connect the tree farm to my base, so I set up a series. I set up a series of scaffolding bridges along the path through the cave that I dug out. But it takes us here, and this is just where I plant trees and wait for the saplings to drop, because sometimes I forget to wait for the saplings to drop. That is a lot of iron used for those hoppers, of course. I could make an iron farm, but I don't really want to. Those tend to be one of the more uglier redstone contraptions. And it also involves torturing innocent golems, which I don't want to hurt the golems. They're nice. Other than that, let's get an aerial look of the place and see if I can jog my memory on what I wanted to do next. Most recently, I've been expanding the forest by planting a lot more buried, dark trees. I want this to sort of be like the dark part of the forest that I come to grind mobs. I had a cove here I was working on, but I haven't felt motivated to work on that one. One thing that I kind of have wanted to do is just add subtle pieces of infrastructure to the wider world. One example is building bridges. I go through a lot of, I go through a lot of fireworks, but flying is just kind of cathartic in this game. Like, even if nothing else, I kind of just enjoy my world from a high vantage point. Plus, this part hasn't really fully corroded yet. I want to have a teal roof for this. I guess I should ask chat then. So, of everything I showed you, what would you guys like me to work on tonight? I could expand the town, I could add more buildings, I could resume a project that I dropped earlier. Or, seeing as this is generic RPG world, I can also build... I can take a suggestion to build something in the city. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to do, like, worldwide infrastructure and building of roads and stuff? Do we want to expand the city a bit more? Do we want to do work on the tree? You can't just say yes! Pick one so I can focus on it. if it's just, but it seems like most recently, a lot of the music that's been playing in the game has just been the newer stuff. I haven't really heard any classic C418 in a while. It's mostly just been the newer compositions made for the newer releases. Where are the NPCs? They're dead. I'll spawn in villagers again once I finish the town and have actual defenses and lighting set up. I guess a wall might be a good thing to add around the borders, especially near the forest. My idea is that this is just sort of the enchanted Feywood that the local town is too afraid to enter. If you guys can't decide on something, I guess I'll have to pick. Something will come to me. Something I could do in my spare time is write books to put in the library. So many empty lecterns. Nothing to really do with them. Yeah, moments like this just kind of remind me of why I play this game. I enjoy hanging out. Just, I actually wasn't expecting my first stream of this game to be so relaxing. It's certainly been a nice experience. I guess I can use these swoosh looks. Sometimes build projects can come to you just at the moment of, hey, I've got something in my inventory. I think I want to use it up. You got one of the touchscreen arcades working. That's good. I imagine they're the type that just have like a smorgasbord of games on them. You should pair that up at some part of your house with like the booth seats that you got. You could like have a little mock restaurant that you can eat at. That would be really cool. And for everybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Joey. He has the coolest house. That's the idea for the kitchen? That is amazing. Sometimes I wish I could, like, design my own houses. I know I'm not really a trained architect, but it's mostly just designing layouts. Hey, maybe I'll get the chance sometime. I'm not all that well versed in construction projects, but I've done a few myself. Small scale, mostly. The biggest thing that I did was making the entertainment center for my living room, which is kind of a beast to behold. It has 2 TVs and all of the consoles that I own. It's also what I've been playing Final Fantasy 12 on. Although I haven't really touched it in a while since my friend has been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses. He showed me what they did to the Dark Magician girl in that game. I will never forgive them. Just now I heard one of the menus songs. He's still playing it. Anyway, there's this natural divot in the ground that generated. Hey! I don't usually carry ranged weapons on me, so. Okay, something worth considering. I should add more lights. I might hop between different projects depending on what I'm precisely looking for. So, right now, I'm going to need torches. Oh, I could use these campfires to make big braziers. I'll keep that in mind. What do these look like together? Hold on. That? That works. Kinda. I like it. I can use this. Question is where to put that. Oh, also, I should grab more composters. They're easy to craft. I think it's just slabs. Okay, that's a good amount. I've got enough coal to make a bunch of torches, which I'm also going to need. Actually, I'm going to take a bunch of strings. Oh, let's finally put a cap on this. Okay, that's a little awkward. That doesn't look good with this texture pack. I think I want to leave it. That said, I guess I can just put some, like, right there. Just, I guess just for set dressing. So let's put some braziers up. Is this more a brazier or is it more of a dumpster fire, to be honest? Like, this is kind of just like a burning barrel in a sense. Actually, I think I'd like to keep the lighting here mostly to torches and the painting streamers. These I can put in the countryside. You think the signs don't work very well? I guess I could change them to something else. Or just not include them. I did mean to use those as, like, dressing for a house. This village generated in, like, kind of a weird, disjointed way. It's cut in half by the river. Trapdoors around fire would look good. I'm sure it would. The issue is that the trapdoors are a full block, whereas the signs were only a partial block. Either way. I'm cool just having them there for now. This is fine. It's just nice to have some sort of lighting along this road. It also produces a lot of smoke. This is one of those situations where in the olden days I would probably use netherrack. I am thinking I should swap these out, though. Lanterns are usually the go-to for lamps. I believe most of my sticks are in storage. Just make a boatload of these things. Well, just to bring to a good even 2 stacks. Okay. I will go a lot simpler on the... Oh, countryside lamps are probably going to be a lot more simple. That said, it would be a bad idea to get a pretty solid base underneath the fences. Question is what kind of fence to use. You know what? Let's try birch. It has kind of a weathered feel to it. Like it's light, but it's also kind of... It's a good wood for making stuff look like it's been exposed to the elements for a long time. That's good. And I think I'll use cobblestone walls for the bases. Alright, let's get to work. This is originally underground. I just carved out a giant hole so I could easily just fly out of there whenever I was done gathering materials. Okay. I can just scrap these out on them. Difficulty with this is the upper steps. I kinda like it. I feel like the fences jut out maybe a little too far. But if it was one block less, I feel like it would be far enough. I think it should be a block higher. That feels a lot more natural. Excuse me. A little, nasally tonight. I should bring scaffolding so I can easily get up and down. Since the braziers produce a notable smoke signal, I will save those for areas that are just particularly large and important. I just want to thank you all for coming and sticking around. This has been a very nice stream. Take a quick break to check my messages. Okay. Scaffolding is here. Easy height, easy cleanup. That's the whole point of them. Good addition, honestly. It's very rare for me to say that Mojang ever makes a good addition to this game. Cross 2. Lantern. These would be good signposts as well. I'm sure I can add something to these to make them look more, Should I say sturdy? You know what? I will try to write this up. That's okay. Actually, I think I might put it facing downward, since not all of these are going to connect across the sides. It's a little weird. But I do feel like it kind of helps. Although I think I might cut the stream short at around, maybe at the hour mark? I usually stream for about 2 hours at a time. I wouldn't mind going a bit longer if I... Oh, hello? Do I want to go anywhere? I could do that, sure. Kicks, that sounds familiar. Should I have heard of that? I'm going to be quite honest, I don't think I care much for the birch rim parts. The arcade game where you draw boxes to fill in an area. Oh, lights out? I thought that real game is called Lights Out. No, you're a pencil. Oh, this still sounds like Lights Out for like Atari. Where you're like a pair of eyes and you're... No. No! That one was... Or am I thinking of Haunted House? I'm not really good with Atari games. You draw lines on a big empty screen, and in some variations you reveal an image in the parts you fill in. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just not thinking of the right word for it. I remember it. It's a game that's been in a lot of things. Excuse me, I'm trying to build. All of the game data is just stored on a hard drive with Linux. Oh, What do you mean by potential, then? What do you have in mind? Are you going to Frankenstein this game up? This look better was just... That does look a lot better. Gonna have to go back and fix every lantern now. Uses a normal file structure, then it means it probably keeps all of the images as a file in a standard format. I could see that happening. Games that just load their data directly from images and regular file formats is actually one of the easiest things to mod. There's gonna be music playing for a while. I do like these lamps a lot better with the shorter regions. It makes it look a lot better. Since I'm setting up lamps, more paths would also probably be a good idea. Also, random bushes. Yes. So I've got a ton more materials left to make more lampposts with, so I'll keep doing that for a while. Nice. Nice. It is Halloween. It's it's the spooky month. I don't usually play horror games, but maybe I'll make a few jack-o'-lanterns in celebration of it. Yes, this works. Just slowly adding some environmental details can make a lot of your builds really pop. Like already the countryside feels more developed just by the addition of these lanterns. I'm going to get some random leaves and start placing bushes everywhere. Yeah, bushes! Also, rocks. Cobblestone makes good, like, random rock structures. I'll add a couple of those around the forest and part of the countryside as well. First up, I gotta store some of this junk. Should not still be carrying that pickaxe. How long did it take to make this? This is the product of, over a year of playing, maybe more. If I check my debug menu, it says that we're on day 210. That's not accurate. I have used the time command to take screenshots, so it does kind of mess up how, the game saves its time, but I don't even have a rough estimate of how long it's been since I started this world. Oh, here comes the nostalgia music. Time command breaks a lot of clocks. I didn't really build any redstone stuff yet. I mean, other than a couple things. That's right, I was gathering cobblestone. The internal game clock, yes, of course. The internal game clock will break itself if you let it run for a couple billion years, but we don't really have that kind of time. Oh, right, leaves. Azalea trees might make good bushes, too. Birch leaves, spruce leaves. That's probably good enough for now. I'm sorry if the, elytra boosting bothers anybody. It's just kind of the fastest way for me to get around. I do have a beacon, but that's in storage. Since I take a lot of screenshots, it gets hard for the... Play however you want, it's probably fine. I agree. This is a chill game for chill people. You just play whatever you want to do. I might be going overboard with some of these, but... Fixed. Maybe putting a bush near every single one of these trees is a little cliche. I'm gonna cut a few of them down. Actually, you get... This one got a bit too large. No, I think I want to grow this one, actually. That's perfect. I think one of the things I'll eventually have to do is get a big collection of stream-safe music to play, because, this game does tend to get a little quiet sometimes. At least we got an original song. I would love an idea for what to do with this world. I was actually asking for some suggestions earlier. Mostly, I need more ideas for buildings to put in the main part of town. Things that serve purposes are very good. There's a couple places that I have distinct ideas for what we're bringing in. Where is my mossy cobblestone? I think it was... was it here? Yes, it is. Build up the village into being a legion town, gradually expanding your base of operations past the tree line. I did kind of have that idea, but I think I didn't go through with it because I already did go through with it. I can't really see through the tree texture very well, but those sets of ruins out there, those are meant to be the outer limits of the town. So, again, there was also the ruined Temple of Dreams. Also, regular stuff would be good as well. Maybe a statue of myself. I guess I could do something like that. Actually, just building some kind of statue in general would be a neat undertaking because you can get away with a lot with this system. But at the same time, also not very much. Okay, let's start randomly strewing these rocks around the countryside. When you say a statue of myself, are you talking like a block structure or just a copy of my skin? Statue of Althea. I actually made a statue of Kasumi at one point. It was on a different world, though. looks out of place, to be honest. Well, the thing is, my skin is kind of the same as me. It's not the same outfit. I have a lot of different outfits, so a lot of different skins, but I can switch to my VTuber outfit, or the outfit on my model, next time I play if I want. Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. I got the gist. A lot of people back in the older days of Minecraft would make big, skin statues. I'll make this a little shaped like that. This might actually just be the bare minimum for a small, like... Ooh, maybe here. That might be a good spot for, like... I think I have the bare minimum to make, like, a small shrine to something. I'll just... I'll do it here. Seems like a good spot. Can use some of this deep slate, I guess. Doesn't really blend in the best with everything else, but... Actually, in that case, I could probably use the cobblestone for other things. this is nice. Do a little minuscule amount of landscaping just to keep it, like, in order. Lanterns would be good here. Despite Minecraft being my all-time favorite game, I haven't played it in years. I completely burnt myself out of it, so I really have no idea what changed other than caves and cliffs and some other updates. Take your advice with salt. Yeah, I can understand getting disgruntled with modern Minecraft. It often feels like Mojang adds stuff with no real regard for what's already in the game. And as many have pointed out, that just leads to features just becoming depreciated. Things were added and they only have one purpose and you never hear from them again. These last ones I will make a rock with. Oh, I got extra. There, this can just be this inexplicable ruined shrine out in the wasteland. Or the wilderness. No connection to anything, it's just there. I don't need to explain it, I just need to make it, and it becomes part of the world. And then there's this asshole. Now the path is all lit. I did a nice amount of landscaping, but I think I'm probably going to end the stream quite shortly. So, I guess huh, I think that was nice. It was a good first stream for this sort of thing. I'll probably start another large project now that I've cleared SMC3. But yeah, if you all enjoyed, I hope that you come back to future streams. That's the most biggest thing that I want to worry about right now. I'm happy for every single one. Thank you, Trio. Thank you, Kin. Thank you, Helly. Oh no, Helly just got here. We're ending now. And thank you to everybody who watches my VODs on YouTube as well. So I'm gonna stop the recording now, and I'll set up a rating.